What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode here on the Pull Focus Podcast. I'm Quentin, and today's guest is an amazing photographer out of St. Albans, West Virginia. She owns her own studio, along with being, in my opinion, one of the best newborn photographers in the state. So, without further ado, is Josie Cooper.
Hi, thank you. Thank you a lot for having me, too.
Yeah.
This is exciting.
So, Josie, you and I, we've followed each other. We've shot. We've done portraits together.
Yeah, we've worked together.
It is really cool to see. I feel like you are thriving right now with your studio.
Thriving.
So.
I feel the same way, too, but I don't know. It is wishy-washy, although it is nice at the same time. It's very emotional since having the studio to myself, because I did actually share it for the first year of being there with somebody, another photographer, in a different genre, and having it to myself, it's a lot of space and a lot to work with.
Yeah.
And I feel like every other photographer who has a studio, they are renting it out.
Yep.
And I feel like I'm behind, even though I don't rent it out. But I feel like I always need to provide something kind of like following suit with what everyone else does.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. Like I've actually seen like just progression in some of your work, and I feel like I can actually see that like kind of flip and stuff too, of where you now have that space, because I feel like you're now kind of like figuring out where like and how to do things, and you have. I think as just a creative, like when you see resources like given to yourself, and then you can like for prime example, just the studio where we're shooting at, it is. I feel like I'm getting into a really good groove with these podcasts and trying to help other photographers find a platform and stuff. And it's neat because I've been thinking about this idea for like months and months. I'm just like, I want to do it, and then. When I'm doing it, I mean, this is the first day, so we're filming 2. I just filmed 1 before, and then this is the next one. And I'm just like, I'm doing the damn thing. You know
nice.
What I mean? It's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like, whenever I switched my business model, too, I was like, it's probably the scariest thing I've ever done for myself besides leaving the military.
Yeah.
Because the military was always there for me. It was plan A, and then I became a photographer, and then I put it to plan B as a backup. And I said, it's not me no more. I'm not 17 running 15-minute 2 miles. Like, I'm not about that life no more. I want to be on this spectrum with photography. And so I did what I had to do, and I invested in what I could. And I left the military, and now this is my heart and soul. And I try to not follow and keep up with trends, but to do my own thing and be authentic. And I think that's what's kept me and successful, honestly.
I can 100% agree with that, because when I see somebody that has done photos in your studio, or somebody like I automatically recognize it. And I've mentioned that on a couple episodes, of the fact that I think it's a very important part of photography when you create something and you have a certain design and certain style to, when people recognize it and say that's a Josie Cooper original right there, you're like you just know.
Whenever they say, I don't know, ask Josie, she's a whiz in Photoshop.
Yeah, I saw that too. Yeah, I was cracking up about it, because I know on the back end he was like freaking out, like he was like, no, I don't know anything, like I just know that's how he was like thinking on it. But
I was like, I try AI first.
Yeah. That's so funny. So like you kind of like gave a little bit about your history, but like what kind of like really, where was the moment that you picked up a camera and be like, yeah, this is definitely like me, and this is what I want to do?
My first photo shoot ever was on my phone.
Okay.
And it was a friend of a friend, sort of, kind of, who had their first child, and they were like, Josie, will you take photos? And I was like, me? Why? Why me? And it was because I had set up a little thing for my boyfriend, because his daughter had just turned 6 months old, I think, at the time. And I just went and bought a crate and a couple little Dizzy Ding Dag things from Hobby Lobby. Yeah. And I made it cute. And so that's why she asked me, and I was like, okay, sure. Yeah. I charged her $40 for a and they were really cute for your first ever photo shoot, and with an iPhone, like iPhone 7 at the time, maybe. But
Yeah, you was hustling before hustling, and
yeah,
I love that.
And I was like, well, might as well get a camera. I'm already doing it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I don't even know what it was. It was the most cheapest little thing with kit lens, and my boyfriend helped me buy it. And I was like, now this is it.
Yeah.
Especially when you're ADHD, because it was like I was always finding something to get into.
Yeah.
And I don't know, a few months went by, and I was like investing probably over $5,000 and stuff at that time between equipment and props and just learning education, because that stuff's really expensive. And I was like, I'm in too deep to quit. And that's just kind of when I stuck with it. And you never stop learning.
Right.
Ever. If you don't want to.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I think that's a very important point where I don't think a lot of people, I was talking about this in the last episode with Kaylin and stuff, is the fact that the older I get, the more I want to surround myself with people that's like-minded and want to
very important to do so.
Yeah, and like I'm 30. I don't know how old.
I turn 24 next month.
Okay, all right. So, but what I will say is like once you hit like that later part of your 20s, it kind of amplifies. And for me, it was like the people that I was surrounding myself with was just kind of doing it as like a hobby, and they was doing things. They was doing a lot of hobbies actually, but they was never. I was like, why are you just doing something, but you're not putting like your whole like heart and soul into something?
You're like wasting time and effort.
Yeah, because because time is something we're never going to get back, and it's like I want to continue to learn. I want to meet connections. I want to like there's things that that I will never understand when it comes to photography, and hopefully I provide that same type of outlook to you.
All this right now.
Yeah, so
I'll never get into it.
Yeah, but I think that's what makes us valuable, as like we both bring something to the table. We're both look at it, and on the business side of things, if you surround yourself with people that, because it's just not just picking up a camera and
not like I thought. I thought it was get rich quick. That's why I got into it.
Yeah.
I was like, $40.
Yeah.
2 tanks of gas. Now it's 1.
Yeah.
But I was like, I could do this.
It's like, we're going to McDonald's tonight. Everything's on me and stuff. No, that's the mentality though. Like, especially in small towns, and I think in West Virginia.
And where the iPhones advance with their cameras. Oh my gosh. Don't get me started.
Yeah. It's insane with the technology and where it's going. And what I want to bring to the table is like, when I take a photo, take a portrait, the portraits, they may be the worst ones we've ever done, but during that whole entire process, you get to know me, you get to see it, and that might be the case.
From a client perspective to you.
Yeah. And I was like, like it doesn't matter the end result. It just matters in between the process that we'd be like, oh, that's a cool person. I want to learn from him, and vice versa, And I feel like that's more valuable to take away than, just a end product. But that whole get rich scheme, it hurts the photography like economy, because you can have one person that's trying to get rich. They put their prices like up massive, and then they're not educated. They don't know their camera. They don't have the equipment. They don't have a second shooter. The list goes on, and then one of my biggest pet peeves in all these groups and all these wedding groups and on Facebook.
I love talking about pet peeves.
Is there a photographer that doesn't cost an arm and a leg? Like, that quote kills me.
I just keep on scrolling.
I hate it. I
keep on scrolling, and I haven't announced this yet, but I don't even know if I will announce it. But I'm done with weddings. I'm taking it off my website.
I feel like you soft announced it. Yeah.
I took one, I accepted one more for this year. And that's when I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
I need to go take it off my website right now. Just keep forgetting.
Yeah.
And it's just whenever I changed my business model to offering products and not be a shoot and burn photographer, it is an investment, and it is reaching a whole new world of clientele, especially in this area, because I only know one other. It's called IPS photography, in-person sales, since I'm offering products and such. But I only know one other photographer who does that out of the whole group chat we have with like almost 50
Yeah,
people
I'm
now.
still confused about the whole.
Yeah.
Yeah, so can you kind of like dive into
Yeah.
that because
So it is a lot. Like, it's what kept me from turning into or switching over to this business model for close to a year is because it's really scary. It's really scary to dump probably 80% of your clientele and invest into the courses to learn how to do it, because the course itself, most of the time, depending on who you go to, is expensive. I went to Joe's and Banks Joe's and Banks, it's two people, Josie Tan and Christina Banks, and their course was $2,050, and I was like, it's not worth
yeah,
it until I bought it, until I
wow.
did it. And so they taught me how to market, how to talk to people, how to talk to past clients who wants to come back to you, products, everything, what to do, how to do it. And I think one of the most important things I learned from them is stop doing what everyone else is doing. Stop it.
Cookie cutter. Yeah.
Cut it out. And probably the second thing is nobody cares who you are at first. When they're looking for a photographer, they don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to sell them on your website. You need to sell them on your work, your outcome, the experience, because everything that goes into it is the most important part when talking to a potential client. You know, every time I get an inquiry, whether it be, you know, messenger or email or whatever, what's your prices? And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a couple minutes to get on the phone call?
Yeah.
And that's when I explain everything to them, and I try not to even talk about pricing, because it's more than money. It's a whole experience you get to have that I offer, and you get to come to the studio. We spend, you know, most of my sessions are newborn sessions, so we spend close to 3 hours together in my studio, and that's another reason why I don't care to put myself out there and let everyone know who I am when booking, is because when we spend 3 hours in the studio, we're going to have a lot to talk about. And we get to know each other.
Yeah, it's a lot of tea. A lot of tea. Yeah.
Yeah. And we get to bond.
Yeah.
And it's really awesome. Like, it really is. I had a newborn session yesterday, and it was a mother who just had her 5th child. And she was older. You know, there's a big age gap between me being 23 right now and that woman. But we bonded so well. And it's an amazing experience. And then what will happen, and I'm getting off topic.
No, I love it. Just keep it going. Yeah.
What will happen, though, is I go through the images and I select the best ones, of course, like always. I'll do some very light editing, cropping, exposure through each set, like, you know, newborn sets. I'll most of the time edit one picture in full so they could see the potential in every other image that they view. And if they're local, I have done it over Zoom too for folks who are kind of far away, because I've had people from like Ohio and Kentucky and such travel to me, but they'll get to come back to the studio. I make a really nice slideshow for them. I have flat screen TV that comes off the wall.
Cool.
Yeah, and it's
so it is an experience.
It is definitely an
really
experience. That's
yeah.
like what I really try to offer is experience and professionalism. Yeah. And I just play the slideshow, and it has some really emotional music on there, you know, cool. Especially for like first time parents. It's
I'll
really
be crying
nice.
Like so much. I'll be
they
just
do
like
cry.
I'll just be bawling. Like I could see like a sad commercial come on about like a dog or something, and I'm done. Like my wife will look over at me and
no,
be like,
I'm done. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, you need to reel it in. I'm like, you don't want to look. It's a golden retriever. Oh man.
I should purchase that song and start. No, that's no, never mind. That's wrong.
No, but it's no. So the whole experience is like so important, and that's like something that. See, I didn't know anything about that. So the only thing, so I feel like I'm learning about newborn photography whenever you post. I had no idea about this pose, but it's the froggy pose.
Yeah.
And you post it all the time.
Yeah, I love it.
And I'm just like, that's adorable, but I have no idea how to like the process of it. And I think a lot of people, they don't understand. It's like it's not just because as a newborn, they're either like super sleepy or they're always like moving and kicking and just I mean, they're babies, you know, like there's no control with it. So like you have to have that patience.
They are the ones who tell me what to do.
Yeah.
And it's my job, and I asked my client yesterday, or I'm sorry, she asked me, she said, how do you do this? Because in the beginning, her baby was very upset.
Yeah.
And he was fussy and he was crying and this and that. And I could tell she was getting anxious, as any mother would. But I was just like, I kept my cool and I was professional. And I think maybe it took me the longest to learn babies. Like, I know a newborn very, very well now.
Right.
I could tell between cries or actions, movements, certain things. Was because I don't have kids.
Yeah.
I don't have kids.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because I would have never expected myself to be a newborn photographer either.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
I don't really like kids.
Yeah.
Like,
it's funny that you're saying that because, I mean, I do a lot of weddings as well.
Yeah.
And I got married at the courthouse. And so I never experienced, like, a wedding.
I still think about doing that, though,
Yeah.
even though I photographed many weddings.
Yeah. And I'm just like, I always tell people, it's like, it's kind of ironic. And they're like, how do you know, like, the flow of these? And most of it's just because I've shot so many. And there's like,
course,
what was your wedding like? I was like, well, I actually got married at the courthouse and we didn't tell anyone until a week later. And then we went down and he was like, oh.
I want to do that so bad.
Yeah. So.
I have a client right now. Bless her heart. I love her so much. I'm not going to say anything too detailed because it's still in the secrets.
Yeah.
We did engagement photos, but it's technically was an elopement at the courthouse.
Love that.
But nobody knows that.
Love that.
So when they come around this year, I think it's this fall is her wedding, she booked me for, everyone will think it's their wedding, but they're going to be like, surprise, it's our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
And I want to do that so bad, but my boyfriend, he's too traditional. He won't do it.
I had a similar case of that, and it's not like I'm not going to name their names, but I will say like a little bit more details because the whole family knows now. But when they did their wedding, they actually got married 3 months before.
Oh,
so
really?
yeah, so then they did it.
Was it like a COVID thing?
No, they just
okay.
wanted to get married.
I heard of that, but it was like because of COVID.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. I didn't ask. I was like, "Oh, cool, that's cool." And then that was like the extent of the whole conversation for me. But because that just doesn't bother me. I'm just like, I'm just here to vibe and get some
on wedding days.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I haven't done as many elopements. I've only done like a couple.
I don't like elopements.
You don't like them?
No.
Yeah.
I feel too pressured because
Really?
Yeah, because on a wedding day, there's so much that happens that I can take photos of to fulfill a very storytelling gallery.
Makes
but like
sense.
when it's an elopement, it's just the couple most of the time and maybe some details. Like it's like more, I don't know.
Yeah.
More pressure for a photographer, I guess, because you take on more responsibility to get timeless photos of just two people, but also I'm not into couples photography, so that could be why.
See, and that's what I love about it, because I've had the opposite conversation with Cole. He was a couple episodes ago, and he just did a elopement up at Alder State Park, and he was just like, it was probably one of the best ones he did, and he was like, I want to get more into that because for him it was the opposite. He said that he felt there was no pressure because there was two people. So it's really cool to get those two different perspectives on it and stuff.
I'm also very introverted as well.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and I overthink. I'm like, everybody hates me.
No, yeah. We had that conversation when we met. She's like, and you said something about like, I didn't even think you knew who I was. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I like all your photos all the time and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Stacy does. She has the same conversation. She talks about that, and every single person has talked about her on the podcast. And
has Stacy been on yet?
I'm trying.
I'm
trying really hard.
She's a very hard lady to get a hold of.
Yeah. She's killing it though. Like, she always kills it, and I've used her studio as well.
Love her studio. I don't even know how she comes up with some of the things she does.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's creative. Like, she's one.
She would put me out of business if I did what she did.
Yeah.
Like, as a competition thing.
But we talked about like that validation of like hearing it from another photographer and just knowing that you know it's not competition. There's so much. There's the work out there. People will find you.
Yeah.
And
but I feel like also I see this a lot is people want compliments on their work but are not willing to accept any
criticism.
constructive criticism. And
100%.
It's I don't know how to feel about
Yeah.
it.
If I post something, like, and I had another photographer be like, hey, by the way, like, there's a guy in the background with a zipper undone or something like that. I'd be like, thank God that you told me this, because I'm looking at it like completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Or if there's just like, stuff in the background, or there's a lighting too harsh or something like that, and people are like, I don't know if like, I would take that with open arms, because coming from a different photographer, like, you see a different perspective on things, and you don't have to agree, but hearing it and be like, maybe I want to change it up.
Just make sure your work is at least equal before you go and like say something like that to somebody else. But I totally agree.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's the thing. Like, with newborn photography, you said you like, education plays a lot into it.
It's extremely important.
Yeah, I know nothing about babies.
You don't have kids, do you?
I don't have kids. No, I have a border collie and a cat. So I could probably get my cat in the frog pose maybe and take a photo of her and stuff, but she wouldn't like it. But no, so I don't know anything about that, and I've had multiple, like, my friends, because I'm to an age now, my friends are having kids. They've been married and they're having kids themselves, and they're just like, hey, Q, you want to take this? And I was like, no, I don't, because then I did a lifestyle shoot a couple weeks ago. And
those are very different, though. Those are less.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I
don't even
agreed.
like those.
Yeah.
I don't like them.
Yeah. So, but they just wanted like 20 photos of like them just in their house, just documenting. They're very easygoing. I knew the guys from college, so it wasn't weird. It wasn't like me just sitting in like their house and be like, okay, get on the bed and smile. Like, I don't want to be like that. Like, I want to have like a creative process. I want to be very like honest and transparent to my clients.
Exactly. That's why I love having a studio and working with studio light, because I'm in full control. I can't even tell you. Actually, it was just a few weeks ago. I did a senior session for a girl I go to church with. That's why I did it. Okay. I did it for free, and I shot outdoors, and that was the first time I had shot outdoors in months, like way before winter, I think. Maybe like besides a wedding, probably a year. And it was the first time I also did a senior session in probably a year. I just don't do it. Yeah. I can, but I don't want to.
Yeah, I feel you. And I mean, I think niching down, like I've said that on multiple episodes,
that's important.
It is important. You don't want to be like, it hurts your brand if you just agree to everything.
Yeah, especially like, that's another thing that I learned in the education course is when you want people to pay top dollar for you. Yeah. Like most of my clients, they invest on average $1,500 with me, not including the reservation fee, which is just like a sitting fee. Yeah. But and my clientele is older too, because it just happens. It's more of an established family with more money to spend per se, or it's if that's not the case, it's just somebody who really values my work and really just wants to book with me because I have branded myself to be known for what I do. And when you are a professional and you have the niche, which like I said, my specialty is studio, maternity, and newborns, people are willing to pay for that more. Yeah. And then also, you don't look like every other photographer who offers everything. Yeah. Yeah. Some people nail it. Yeah. Just not a lot, though.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Lindsay Willis. I know she bounces between West. I think she used to live in West Virginia, but now she's in like Iowa, and she comes back every few months and like will host some really cool minis. She does everything. Yeah. And she nails everything. She's so good.
Yeah,
and she makes a lot of money doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
Her brand.
The things I definitely don't want to dabble in is newborn, families, any mini session.
I don't like families, and I don't like minis.
Yeah, I don't want to do any of that.
I think minis are very, I don't want to say devaluing, but the way people do it so often.
It needs to be a process.
It's almost devaluing your work because I don't think it's a mini if you're offering 25 photos for, 30 minutes. Right. That is an entire session. That's a regular session. That's not a mini. Yeah. And then people give away their free digitals too. Like, let's say on average 10 to 15 photos is what you'll get back. Why not just say 10, or why not just say 12, and you can pick the 12 photos you want and you upsell the rest of them, because that's still your work, that's still your labor, that's still time and effort that you've already put into it.
Yeah.
Why are you giving it away for free?
Yeah.
I've made a lot of money, and I'm not here for the money, but I'm just saying I stopped wasting my time doing things for free by being professional and being that way up front and letting people choose what they want. And if they want more, they can buy it, you know?
Yeah, I think when I switched my prices, I learned that. And especially with weddings, I was getting, I wouldn't say, now I get a very more, I don't know how a word is. I get more of a client that understands like my actual artistic expression. Like they understand. Yeah, they value it. They're not looking at it and be like, oh, you're a photographer, like check box, you know. And before I was doing it, and I shot weddings, and I was just not happy with locations and blah blah blah. Now most of these I do now, they have a venue, they have a videographer, they're going all out, wedding planner and stuff. They do things like that, makes your job a lot easier. Now some of them don't, but like they all work out. I've had, when I first started, it was like 75% of them was like not good, and I was like, well, I'm gonna change my prices. And I said, this is either going to hurt me or help me, and we'll figure it out. And I cranked them up. My biggest package now is $3,000.
That's not even a lot to me.
I still feel like it's a lot, so I'm gonna be like,
I was just talking to Stacy the other day. We took a walk together it was like the first nice day of pretty much the year, and she was telling me about her highest package, and it was I can't remember, it was like maybe 3,000 or something in that range, but it came with like a whole wedding day, a second photographer,
mine comes with everything,
engagement photos, and I was like, that is really 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 cheap for everything you're offering.
That's what people are saying. So when I first started and everything, people was still saying that was cheap, but like I include everything, and this is my first year going full time. So what I'm trying to do with
really?
it, yeah,
didn't know that. Congrats.
I literally just quit my job like 3 weeks ago. Yeah, so like I'm doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
So I have been putting this as a side hustle for years, and I woke up around January and I was like, I'm tired of
sick of this, grandpa.
Yeah. And I want to try it, and I knew I'm in part of my life that I need to do it. I've established myself, I think, pretty good down here in Charleston to know other people.
I agree.
And stuff. So it's like, this is a good time to do it. And I mean, I have my master's, I have experience.
You got a backup if you need it.
I'm chilling, you know, and I'm on my wife's insurance, you know, like I got all the ducks in a row and stuff. It just needs to be like, but the thing is, like, I need to try it. I need to take that risk and do it and jump in, and because I don't want to have no regret. I love photography. I love creating. I love it, and I want to be able to like jump right into it.
I think that's why a lot of people price themselves so cheaply too, is because they have a full-time job.
Yeah.
They don't really need the income from photography, and they love it so much they don't care to do 60% of it for free or for extremely low cost.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad that I learned and got out of that as soon as I did, because, I mean, I've only been a professional, for a year, but I've had a camera for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm 23, and I learned quick, and I'm glad I did. I don't want to be in the position, and I knew this, whenever I'm ready to have children. We're homeowners now, but it's not a big house. And whenever it comes to that point in time where life is there and you're moving forward with life, but your income is holding you back because you didn't do what you needed to do in the beginning. Yeah. I don't ever want to be like that.
And by no means that I had a lot stored away, but I was just like, I'm just doing it. You know, like I just want to try it. Like today is awesome because the thing is, like, I'm shooting a vlog, so there's gonna be like behind the scenes. So I've been doing like all types of cool stuff before. I did like a time lapse of setting it up, and then later I'm doing a session, so I'm making money off of that. I'm doing 2 podcasts. Like today, I feel like I literally texted one of my friends earlier today. I was like, today's like a full day of me creating, a full day of like, it's going to like, it's a cool like moment. Like I had a session the other day. It was like the first time I was in QuickBooks because I'm doing all the invoicing and everything through that. And I sent the invoice out.
Doesn't that feel nice?
Yeah.
So
And I was
organized.
like, and I told my wife, I was like, I'm a little entrepreneur and stuff. And she's just like cracking up, and she's like, but I was just like, it is neat because you've had these side hustles and you're trying to do it by the book and you want to be successful, and people don't understand that there is like, photography as a full-time job. What I've learned in the last 3 weeks, 25% of it is shooting, 75% is
Oh my gosh, yeah.
bookkeeping, marketing, keeping up with your clients.
Not
I'm
crying.
And just just like not crying when you're editing like for 8 hours
Girl
straight
dinner.
and stuff. Yeah. There's just so much that goes into it, and I'm hoping with these podcasts, I have a couple more projects I want to do later this year as well. Is kind of like it shows more of a different side of photographers and what we're going through, and what is like we do care about our clients. We honestly feel like we're out of a lot of vendors and everything like that. We're sensitive people down deep. Like,
well, when you're an artist, you're gonna be very sensitive about your work naturally. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, and we want to create best experience for everybody. And I think when all that comes into full circle, you want to provide a great product for them, and then knowing your value
and not being a people pleaser / pushover.
Yep.
That's me. I still don't have a spine to this day. I don't have a spine to this day.
Yeah, it's hard to say no. It really is. Is like a type of flattery that people they come to you and you're like, oh yeah, you can shoot it, but I'm just like, it's hard. It's hard to be like, no.
Yeah, luckily I don't have clientele that push me over the edge anymore. They're very respectful of my time. They're very respectful of my business hours. Yeah. And if somebody is texting me at 8 o'clock at night, I'm ready to fire them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not really, I'm kidding. But it's not a big deal, And I've heard horror stories of, like, clients thinking that they can do anything, any time of day, call, text, FaceTime, I don't know. Just because you're a person, and it's because they don't look at you as a professional. Right. But that's probably falling back on you. That's your fault.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, too, a lot of people don't look at, well, you're not a full-time photographer because you don't have a studio. I've heard that.
Or if you have another job, you're not a full-time photographer. Yeah. Or other things. But if you're full-time or you're wanting to be full-time, I'm probably going to suggest just going and getting your LLC or whichever you want. Pay your freaking taxes.
Get a good accountant. Yeah.
I don't even have an accountant. I'm so OCD and I can't trust nobody. I should though. Yeah. It would probably relieve.
I failed math like 12 times in college, so like
you know what?
Yeah, so I'm just like
2 art classes.
Oh geez.
One was in person, one was online. Yeah. I tried it both
I'm bringing
ways.
only the best here on the as a guest too. Like no, but. Yeah, well, for that's the part that I look at forums and I don't even know where to start. But the girl that does mine, she's a friend of the mom. Okay, I don't know. There's a mutual friend from high school, and I trust her. I was over at their house like almost every day when I was in high school, so like I know she's going to steer me right. Like, and she's like, no, she does our taxes, and I was like, okay.
I haven't even went to H&R Block is the only person business that has ever filed my taxes because I have a hard time trusting people who just know how to do it.
Well, and then it's like you said the other day in the group chat is that the importance of knowing what you can claim and stuff too. Like you thought you was going to pay a lot, but now you're getting like a refund and stuff too.
Yeah, I mean that'll hurt me on the long run, but right now I don't care. Like if I ever needed a loan, which I know I won't for a long time. Yeah. So, but
that's the little things. I think that's the little things.
I prepared for it though, at least as you should. You put that back. Yeah. And stuff. And
you even put a reminder in today. You was like, hey, make sure you're doing this, guys, and stuff. And you just because as small business owners and stuff too, you just want to make sure that they are doing the correct things. I learned. I had my LLC, but I wasn't doing the right. I didn't know you had to do stuff through the city of Charleston. as well. I did everything except that. So
Yeah.
now I had to back up and do a whole full years of city.
Well, I had somebody
So
call me not long ago, and they were like, "Hey, you are a year behind on paying your property taxes." And I was like, "Hold up."
yeah,
They're like, "Yeah, you're a brick and mortar business. You know,
Yeah.
you owe blah blah blah." And I'm like,
yeah.
"Mm-mm-mm."
yeah.
I don't know why, but it really.
I think it's
butters-
funny. Yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
funny that we left a
Get-
country that was taxing us, and we created America, and now we're getting taxed. Like no one is thinking about that. I was like, we can't go
And
to
today's
Canada.
tax day too. Happy
like,
tax day.
yeah. It's just like it's so ironic way things are because bigger businesses that I don't know how they're getting hit, but like as a small business owner, like every session that you do, if you do like $100
Yeah.
session, it could be like taxed up to $14
And
on
in
it.
West Virginia, I'm pretty sure it's state by state. I looked it up one time, but it was a long time ago. But digital files. I was like, why? Because whenever I was getting my lashes done by my lash artist, we were talking business, and she doesn't charge sales tax. And I was like, how come you never charge me sales tax? And she was like, I don't have to. So I looked into it, and the state of West Virginia considers digital files to be tangible, so they have to be taxed. And I was like, I mean, I guess I could see it, but really?
That's a reach, though.
I was about to say, they're reaching. And I feel bad whenever taxes add up on my clients, because sometimes it's like $100, $200 in taxes, and then you have square fees. And I always tell them, like, you can bring a check or you can bring cash, but falling back onto professionalism too, I'm not going to cut someone a deal if they bring check or cash.
Yeah.
It's the total, and it's 6% state sales tax. And
I think most of the clients, they understand that. They
should.
I haven't had any where they're just like, well, why? I'm just like, well, that's
I've
the
had
law.
people like give me like the like the smirk emoji, like we'll bring cash or whatever. I'm like, okay, it's still going to be the same. You think I'm not going to report it? You think I'm not going to report it?
Yeah.
I'm not risking my end for you to save $10.
Yeah. People they surprise you and stuff. Like,
but if you're not coming off professional enough, you'll get people like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always fall back on professionalism, because if you're professional from the jump, the rest will follow.
Right.
And as excited as I am when people reach out to me, or potential clients, or when people do book me officially, whether it's on email or a phone call, I just want to be like, I'm 23. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait. And I want to put that into emotions. But then I'm like, my clients, they're most of the time older based and older. You know what I mean, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not professional, so I don't put LOL in my emails. I don't put emojis in my emails. Right. And the rest follows. It makes everything easier when communicating, when getting people to respect your time, your art, your entire business,
Yeah, the little do not disturb thing on the Apple has been my best friend.
Oh, I don't give clients my phone number.
I only use it because I FaceTime. So
really?
So I FaceTime. That's how I do my meetings. It's in the contract that like we'll FaceTime or do a call. And I always prefer FaceTime because like they can read my face, and then they can like and get a feeling of who I'm
I did a Zoom call for an ordering appointment.
That's probably where I should probably go to.
It was my first Zoom call technically, and I guess you have to pay for it.
Yeah, if it's like longer than like 45 minutes, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that, and I was like down to 2 minutes, and I was like,
bye,
book me.
Yeah.
Do you have an iPhone? Can we finish this later?
Yeah.
Like we were trying to design this woman's album over Zoom, and I'm like, hold on, like, this is what this will look like, and then it's like down to 1 minute, and she hasn't paid or anything. We're not even talking about it.
You can just stop the call and just redo a link, and you can do another one, but it's up to 45 minutes for free.
Well, I'm not paying for it then.
Yeah, Zoom. After COVID, like they changed their whole thing because it used to be free all the time. People was doing it, and Zoom's stock was like kind of like more people was like downloading it because of remote working and stuff. And then they was like, well, we got to make money off of it. So they do 45 minutes. If you and you'll get like a notifications in an hour, it'll completely shut off and log you completely out. So, but if you just stop it and just get a new link, you can do it.
Though.
It is.
To me, like in my head, it makes me anxious because I feel like that'd be a little unprofessional.
100%, yeah. And I think too is 45 minutes is just when the conversation's getting good.
Yeah, I know.
You know,
Like, my
and
ordering appointments normally take like at least an hour,
Yeah.
hour and a half.
Yeah.
You know, by the time we're going through the whole slideshow, narrowing down the images, and then talking
Yeah.
and showing products, and then designing them together, it's a process.
Oh, I ramble too. I
love to
remember
ramble.
I remember one time I was on a call and when I got off, my wife was like, who was that? And I was like, oh, it's a client. She's like, why were you telling them all that stuff? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, you was telling them about like things that we did like last week and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, I was just having a connection, you know,
It's
like,
important though.
yeah. And
It's
she's like, did they even care? I was like, I think they cared and stuff. But I mean, that's just the type of person I am and stuff. I'll just like, I'll go up to anyone and start talking to them. And, my wife and stuff too, she's an amazing supporter, but I think some of the things that I do, she just looks at it and she's like, oh, I would just never do that. Like, she's not, she gets into a groove, but at the same time, she'll never like put herself out there to like.
Yeah, I don't put myself
Yeah.
out there at all either.
Yeah.
Like, very rarely I'll make a business post talking about my personal life or
Yeah.
just with my face.
Yeah.
And it's because I don't really want people to see me because, let's be honest, as humans, we judge. I don't care.
Oh yeah, I know
I
people
don't
be
care.
judging me.
And, like, they're...
Like, have you seen this hair? Like, I don't have no control over it and stuff, but I'm just like, I don't care. It makes me feel good.
Yeah.
I'll show up, and last year I shot weddings. I had like a hairband on. I was looking at the behind the scene. I was like, I look like I'm homeless, and they just
saw
pulled
that
me
one
up.
time, and I was like,
Yeah,
that's not him.
Yeah, I was
because I'm
just
pretty
like-
sure the first time I saw you, you had like a nice
yeah.
fade,
I do like
maybe?
a fade and stuff when I get cut.
And then I saw you post a picture, and your hair was like out to here. I was like, no way.
Yeah, I was just like, but it's like when they start getting to know me and
Yeah.
stuff, they're just like,
Yeah.
I don't care. I was like,
Like,
if
I don't even
yeah.
have a. I think I do, but it's like kind of hidden. Get like a more about Josie button or get to know your photographer stuff like on your
Yeah.
website. Like, I can't stand. Here's a pet peeve is whenever I'll go to. It doesn't even have to be photographers. It's any business, right? And I'll see something that's interesting and I want to look into it. I go to their page. I don't know where they're at. It's not on their page. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's on their website. I'll go to their website. It's not on their freaking website, or it's not in my face to where I could see it off the bat, which it should be. And then it's like, well, you know, I'm only going to try for so long before I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then you might have just
Yeah.
lost out on a client, whether it doesn't matter what business you're in, but you could lose a lot of people. And even if it was a single follow, like if I knew you were local, I would still follow you and I would still see your stuff, and then you'd be in the back of my head.
Yeah.
At least.
I know from my website, I only have 8 pages, and when I built it, I learned a lot because I used to work for West Virginia Tourism, and I learned a lot through that job because I helped design the new website that they currently have, and they had over 2,000 pages.
That's good though. That's really
And
good.
they brought it down from 2,000 to 200 because of the fact that there was just like some of the pages wasn't viewed in like over 2 years.
Yeah, but
you know?
Google still indexes all of that.
Yeah,
It
so
ranks you high.
we took all that. Most of those was like the reason why those pages was like companies that was no longer even in business though. So they wasn't like, you know, so when we did it, we just took it down, and then those 200 was like all high SEO like through the roof and stuff.
And I think that's something else that nobody does around here.
No.
No one really.
We've
works on
had a couple
SEO.
conversations about it and
Yeah,
stuff.
but
and-
everyone's. I don't want to say everyone, but a lot of people, a lot of photographers, they say, "What is that?"
Yeah.
Like, that's very important. Like, you know, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like, don't just put all your effort into Instagram and then
Right.
Facebook, maybe a quarter of that. Like, when you hear don't put all of your eggs in one basket, it sounds like you have a limited number of eggs, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
really you don't.
Yeah.
Put your effort, as much effort as you have,
Yeah.
into SEO, into your website, onto Google and onto Facebook, and it will follow. You'll finally pick up what brings in the most, and what helped me know where a lot of my inquiries were coming from is when I post on Facebook, or I don't really get a lot from Instagram, so I don't pay too much attention to Instagram. I don't need to. I know that probably sounds hypocritical right now, but when I put on Facebook, I say inquire through my website below. So I don't have people messaging me. And
Yeah.
I'm not playing 21 questions with a bunch of people who really aren't my ideal clientele.
Yeah.
Because once I direct people into my website sells. If you're my ideal client,
Yeah.
it sells. The photos are in your face. There's pricing, starting pricing, so they know it's an investment because I'm not cheap. And it's okay to be an expensive photographer.
Mm-hmm.
Cheap is not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
So many people think cheap is not a bad thing. It is okay to not be your ideal client. I would never book me. Ever. I would
Yeah.
never book me. I'd be like,
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But whenever I talk to them and I'm running through the experience, what all they're getting besides photos.
Mm-hmm.
When they see my website, I love my website. I've put everything into my website. It happens. People see more than just a photo.
Yeah, you said the other day in the group chat that the fact that you get more people find you on Google and Facebook, I think, right?
Yeah.
And stuff. And I think that's a really interesting.
I don't get a lot of word of mouth.
I get a lot of word of mouth.
You do? That's
yeah,
good,
that's
though.
me
That's good.
from mine. But I know if anyone comes to me about newborn, I send them straight to you.
Yeah.
So I'm just
Well,
like, nope, she's
she's
the person. So I'm that like little 2%, I guess, on your your
I
analytics about word by mouth. But
I don't think I get a lot of word of mouth, at least not right now, because where I switched my business model,
it's hard to track that too.
My clientele is completely changed. I'm still building it. I started from scratch just this past January. And word of mouth, it's just something that kind of comes in every once in a while, because whenever people inquire through my website, I put a check box that says, yes, I understand what the reservation fee is, and collections start at $800. So they know that. And then there's a drop down that they select where they heard me from. And most of the time, it's Google and Facebook. So
That's cool.
that really helps me to know where it's coming from, because sometimes I forget to ask in person.
You have your own studio. You just shoot newborn. You don't do weddings almost anymore now. You're kind of like diving out of that. And then, have you always been from West Virginia or?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, and you're no.
No, I'm kidding. I really do love West Virginia. Yeah. I don't care what nobody says.
Is there anything that's on like your like a bucket list shot that you're always wanting to get?
No, but I know where I want to be, and I'm far from it. You know how they always say, don't compare yourself to others.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I don't believe in that.
Okay.
I don't believe in that, because if I wasn't comparing myself to some of the top industry leaders every time I took a photo, and maybe it's because it's studio work. It's easier to pick out what you did not do correctly when it comes to lighting or posing or even the fingers or,
I think that's more just critiquing though, not more comparing. Like the way I can kind of like interpret that is like you see it and be like, I'll never shoot something like that.
It gives me the drive though to be perfect. Like how I see these other photographers, like my studio maternity is like poop. In my eyes, I don't like it. I really don't like a lot of my work because I compare it, but I'm okay with that. It doesn't drain me of my happiness, because I know what I did and what I executed is still great. My client loved it, and that's what's important, but just never stop.
What was some of the things that when you first started that you wish you kind of like, I don't want to do that like same question that like everybody says is like, oh, what's one thing you would have done differently and stuff, but like I feel like that's still an important one at the same time. I mean, because like me personally,
I don't think I would have changed anything.
Yeah, well, I'm just like I didn't start shooting in like raw until like 5 years until I was like actually shooting. I didn't even know about it. No one taught me that. I didn't have a mentor, didn't anything. I switched it and understood the difference between how my edits were then, and it was a game changer.
Really?
And I mean, like, if you are starting as a beginner photographer, please shoot in RAW. Like, understanding edits and presets and retouching. That you can't do that on a JPEG.
I think there's two things that I would have not done. One is I wish I would have just taken the time to educate myself.
Yeah.
And I would have purchased the for, I guess at the time I was technically getting into it, but I wish I would have just purchased the body and purchased a prime lens.
Yeah.
And put my money where it needs to go instead of a cheap whole kit, you know?
If you're going to
Lens,
do it right.
Trash.
Yeah.
Just don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Just do it once and do it the way it should be.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
I wasted so much money on presets too.
Yeah. Because you always see that one, you're like, oh, that will work. And it's like addicting.
Mm-hmm.
Then you install like 20 of them.
I don't
and
even
then
use presets no more.
Yeah. I have 2 that is like my bread and butter. And it's like more like, I call it like Tennessee whiskey, like Auburn. Like it's like very bourbon type golden. And I absolutely like.
I really did like, I mean, if I shoot outdoors, I still use it. But like I said, I don't shoot outdoors.
Yeah.
But dirty boots and messy hair. Love it.
Sounds like a Friday night. You know, it's just crazy, you know. No, that's like, and I feel like your style too. You incorporate those earth tones a lot, you know.
Yeah, you know what? That's not intentional either.
Yeah, you just do it.
Like I look at my Instagram feed sometimes, and I'm like or my page, I'm like, this is one cool style I got going on, but it's not intentional.
Yeah. It's probably something that you're like subconsciously just drawn to.
Yeah,
and
probably
you don't
just.
know.
I mean, I've taken action. I use actions. I don't use presets, and then everything's by hand. I hand edit every image.
Yeah.
And it's just a combination between this person and that person's actions and this person's skin retouching action, and I just think it came together as what I have now.
So explain it to me and the viewers, especially the guy viewers, because I'm still trying to understand this in the maternity side of things. I've shot maternity a couple times, but it's not my. I have no idea what I'm doing other than like hold the belly and smile. You know?
I hate that.
And I don't know what to do. But I was call you Megan. I'm sure I'm probably missing a whole bunch of them already.
I know, it's hard to think.
But Megan and you, I feel like your guys is you have like a client closet, right, and stuff, and then you guys have like dresses for like there are all types of ruffles, and I have no idea where to start with that. You know what I mean? Like
it's not even necessary.
Yeah.
Like you could.
Is there clients that like really like want?
Yeah, all my clients use it, but. Spending a lot of money on a client closet is not necessary.
Yeah.
You do not have to dive into expensive gowns and designer pieces from, you know, I have like 4 or 5 gowns that are the really, you know, the fluffy ones you can get on Amazon. It's like that times 10. And they're like $500 a piece, and it's not necessary. Like if you nailed your lighting, your composition, and your editing, you could shoot a woman naked. And it's beautiful.
Yep.
You could shoot her in an Amazon one-piece bodysuit, and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
If you can find things to do that's not hold your belly, and you just nail it with lighting, it can be so beautiful. Yeah,
I've only done a couple, and each I don't even know how to explain it, because like each one of them, I have done 5 in total. Yeah, maternity, and each one has been a different season, and cool. I don't understand the idea of the fluffy gowns and all that and stuff too. Like, I think it's mainly because I'm a guy and I have no idea.
Maybe like, I think it almost was a trending thing. Okay, like I have seen a shift, but it's not like your typical trending thing. Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. It was something that stays for quite some time. But it's because of the style. Yeah. You know?
Some of the collars, though, that like I think Megan did one with a red dress last year. Oh, my gosh. It was like red. That was crazy.
I can't photograph very good with red.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you do like a lot of yours is like white or tan, right? Like the gowns that you have.
They're very muted. I don't know why, but I naturally have selected a lot of muted collars.
It's very like skin tone and stuff, like
like I have like a teal, but it's muted. It's somehow a muted teal. I have like a blush pink red tone, but it's still like kind of muted. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a vibe though, because I think there's people looking for that. Like when I see that, like people like I see it all the time on Facebook or like YouTube or something like that. I'm like, Yeah, I was like, yeah, Josie could do that. Like, simple as that. Like,
Yeah,
it's
I don't
like,
even like those gowns
Yeah.
anymore, but I just hang on to them anyways
Yeah.
because I still have clients that enjoy it. I'm like still learning my style as well because just like when you start photography, just like when you start photography, you're doing a little bit of everything to find out what you like and what you're good at, and that's kind of like studio maternity. You try different styles. Like there's photographers who have like an editorial style with minimalism. Then you have I'm really attracted to like fantasy, but I'm not good at it
I got you.
because
Okay.
it's so much work and knowledge that is required in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And it's not that
Because you can do it like really bad.
yeah, and
Yeah, and then it's very
really
noticeable.
easy
Yeah.
to not do a good job at. And it's not that I
Yeah.
don't know how to do it. Like as far as using Photoshop, it's just like how I mean it's something even as a creative that I can't see.
Right.
Like I've watched videos on YouTube and they're like, I am going to take this skin lightening brush and just go right here, and it's
Right.
like, well, how do you
Yeah.
know where to dodge and burn?
Yeah.
You know?
I've been doing a really cool series on my Twitter. So I game a lot too. So like I'm always like playing COD or doing stuff like that. And I'm doing a really cool graphic design series. So I'm doing 365 days of graphic design. So every single day I'm posting.
Even on Christmas?
Well, I'll schedule it. You know.
Just kidding.
But what I want to do with it is like I want to get better. I want to like I don't want day one to look like day 365. You know, and there's things I want to like learn differently. There's a lot of content out there. You go to Google and just find a high res image. You know, you can throw something together.
Right.
And I've been making like these custom posters of like basketball players or COD players and all this stuff. And it's really neat because even the first one that I did, I'm on day 29, I think. Almost a full month on it. And I've already learned 2 different things that I didn't even know I would do. You know, and I'm doing like this really cool like it's trending now where you can create a box and there's like a glass effect to make it look like that frosted glass, you know? You can do that in Photoshop now, and then it's like you can put like depth of like a person in front of it, person behind it, so the person behind it looks like they're behind frosted glass. So cool. And it gives us a different thing. You're just like, oh wow, like I would have never known how to do that if it wasn't for like trying to push myself. And I think
that's
it's
good too because that's what's going to make you stand out.
Yeah.
Like that's why people will book you, is because you can do something that nobody else around here can do.
Yeah.
Like I can't stand it when I'm trying not to put others down, but like how are you going to be a professional photographer if you're not editing on a computer, if you're okay with doing it in Lightroom mobile, and then how are you okay with limiting yourself in just Lightroom and not learning at least basic Photoshop,
well,
you know?
I think it's learning the process of things.
But people literally
yeah.
say, no, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I'm like, why not? You're just hindering yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could be 10 times better if you put yourself in like not ever stopped learning and create. You can create in so many different ways too, and you could find a whole new style that you love that you had no idea about or no idea you could at least do, and that can bring in a whole new clientele base and double your income. You know?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's about the process of things and like always, you know, continuing to grow and getting better and stuff. And I think that's what makes you as a photographer. It separates the people that's just making it for a quick buck, and then people that is like actually putting
but
the
I love
investment
a good deal
in.
too, though.
Yeah.
After I leave here, I'm gonna go and meet some guy who is selling 60 paper backdrop rolls. Not 60. I'm sorry. 9 of them for $60.
Okay.
I'm gonna go check them out.
Okay.
Like these ones right here.
Yes.
But I also like to spend my money
Yeah.
in like other ways to learn how to be better.
Well, that's the thing with these podcasts. When I first did the first one, I was doing the audio completely different, and then the second one, these mics are now coming into one file. The third one, I brought this camera in as a prop, so now I have something. You know, so I'm just like I'm trying to, you know, I've thought about it too. I was like, you know, towards the end, I was like, I want to give my guests like a little like thank you for being part of this and stuff. So like maybe we'll have merch at some point, and then they get a T-shirt, and then they get like maybe an SD card or something, and it's just like,
I love merch.
yeah, yes, but it's just those little things. I think it's just like shows appreciation and attention to detail.
I love doing that too for my clients, because whenever their products come in, and I like to have the option to hand deliver them to their house, but obviously you can come pick them up from the studio. If not, everyone's going to be comfortable with that. Their house might be, you just had a baby, your house could be not
right.
It could be messy, you're not used to it, or you just don't really know where you live, and that's fine. I'm going to respect it. But I like to package them up neatly if they come and pick them up, and I'll put little cards in there that says, because you're so great, and I'll offer them like $100 off their next collection. I make sure that with their products they get a clean set of like white cotton gloves.
Oh, cool.
For their products to handle with, and
that's awesome.
Like can't think of it right now, but the cloth wipes to clean screens and stuff for like their acrylic albums. Stuff to go above and beyond. It's not just your products you're getting it in a very nice way, a nice setting, and you get a little bit more to
that's
go with
so
it.
cool, because I would be like, here's your link, get on out, I'll just be like, but I think that's
I hate doing that now. It makes me feel like I'm not providing.
No, I love that. I think it's so cool that there's people in the industry that's doing that we know of and stuff. So, and then even like, it's nice to know that I'm referring people to you, and that's the type of person you are and stuff too. Because it's like, before it was like we shot and we're just friends, and it's just like, no, I'm gonna help her out.
I do the same too, because I only do like 2 genres. There's people that's like looking for other things. I'm like, nope, you can go message this and that person.
I have a whole list of people, and I try to I have it kind of broken up by price range, because like I want to some people, they just get on there and they just don't want to pay, and I'm just like, well, you're not going to get
if I get that vibe, I don't even push anybody out.
I don't
I don't do that.
Most of the ones that if I can't do it, it's literally because I'm booked, and I'll I'll creep on them and look at them on Facebook and do the whole 9 yards on it. But has there been anything this has been awesome. Like, we've already been talking for like an hour and stuff.
It only feels like 30 minutes.
See, that's the vibe. I love it. But I'll just ask you a couple more, and then we can wrap it up.
That's fine.
Has there been a photo that you've done, or like a set that you've done, and you've seen that process like click, and you've changed, and you're just like, you just know you're in the right type of, like, a good growth?
Yeah, that it wasn't a photo. I mean, it was in the end, but it was whenever I officially got my first froggy pose.
Yeah, I remember that post you did. And
because
stuff
I felt like I was on top of the world. I went home, I changed my prices.
Yeah, I love that.
I was like, I can finally do it.
Yeah.
But it's never like a photo. It's always a pose.
Yeah.
At least in newborn, when I'm doing a newborn photo, or I'm sorry, session. But maternity, I'm not there yet. I've not had an image that I'm just gasping about. Until when that day comes, I'm gonna be on top of the world again. Yeah,
I've had a couple portraits like that, but there's been some that I'm just ready. Like, I cannot wait to go home and just like straight edit, and then you realize by the time you get home it's like 11 o'clock, and be like, dang, I gotta wait till tomorrow to post this, because you want some type of engagement on it. And
that kills me too, because like whenever I go home from a session that was spectacular, it's like I just run through their soft proof gallery, and I can't do anything about it until we schedule their ordering appointment, which is like a week later. And then if they buy the photo, sometimes I'll just edit it myself if they don't buy it. But if they pick that photo, then it's still like maybe a day or two before I can get to it. So I almost don't even have that feeling anymore.
No, well, do you have anybody else you want to plug or shout out and stuff? It's kind of like a good opportunity to
nobody local. There's like, I'm gonna shout out Josie Tan and Christina Bankstow for their education course, because without them I would not be where I'm at today. Because even though I didn't purchase it until late fall last year, and I didn't start implementing it until January this year, I had followed them and saved up for that course for months beforehand, and it is something that put me on top that I didn't think I could do.
Awesome.
Even the community that comes along with it.
Awesome. Well, You guys, as always, Josie's information is going to be located in the description below, along with all of our information about this podcast. Again, this podcast is sponsored by Megan Nicole Photography. This is where this is filmed at. You can go to her studio. You can do mommy and me sessions, portraits, boudoir, just a little bit anything that you are looking to do. Go to her website, book her, and if you have any other questions, all of her information is going to be on her website right there as well. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe on the YouTube channel as well. This kind of helps support and helps these photographers get out there as well, along with just growing their audience. And we are also located on Apple Podcasts, so make sure you give us a follow and listen on there as well. As always, stay safe, never stop creating, and have a great day.
Period.
There you go. I'm just gonna leave that in. That's
I don't
perfect.
care.